Welcome to Politics Done Right on KPFT. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Give me a call at 713-526-5738. That is 713-526-KPFT. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you very much for giving me this hour. Today we have a great subject that we're going to be speaking about, and I hope to get you guys involved both on the phone and through Periscope. To my Periscope users who are listening right now, do remember, type out those messages. Hello from Shartburg, because I want to keep everybody engaged in the conversation. If you have friends on Periscope and otherwise, let's go ahead and bring them in again. Today we're going to be discussing the media and its effect on the last Democratic debate. As we speak right now, of course, like I said, this migraine that I'm having right now has me a little bit under the weather, so some of the things that I should have ready for you, I don't, but we are going to have a show. Glad to see that we have so far quite a few Periscope users on board with us. Let's keep bringing them in. For our users over the phones, remember you can give us a call at 646-929-2495. Again, that number is 646-929-2495. Yeah, the microphone, for those looking at Periscope, think it makes me look like a clown because it has a red little bubble on it. Well, look, I'll be the clown for a day as long as we're talking some very smart things, my dear friends, all over the country, all over the world. We have some people from outside the country listening as well who would probably see what it's all about to have the politics in the United States. You know, folks, this week there was a relatively successful debate that occurred between 5 Democratic primary candidates, and you know what? It was a fairly substantive debate. It was a fairly substantive debate. Yes, I know a few trolls have found me, but you know what? I love trolls as well because, you know, sometimes even trolls will come on board and be a part of the civil discourse and be a part of going forward. So come on in, my friends. Everybody welcome. I'm talking to my folks on Periscope, of course. For those that are listening over the air, 646-929-2495. Marijuana legalization. Oh, you guys are really going at it today at Periscope, but that's fine. Anyhow, there were 2 stories, folks. There were 2 stories out of the debate, and one was that it is possible for the most part to discuss real issues that affect Americans. But the second is the influence the traditional mainstream media can have in their attempt to influence outcomes. We will discuss that today, and I hope folks call in, and I hope some of you here on Periscope as well will have the wherewithal to go ahead and join the debate. Folks, what are your thoughts? Let's talk. I will also be following hashtag Politics Done Right on Twitter, and of course my Twitter is at Egberto Willies. Give me a call, 646-929-2495. Again, that number is 646-929-2495. Those of you that are on Periscope, if you have something to say and you just can't quite type it in, hey, you're already on your cell phone, just call up 646-929-2495. Now, for those of you who always go to my initial blog and go ahead and read the blog of the week, I have a confession to make, my dear friends. The blog of the week, I was still writing it, but as I said, I had the migraine and I had a whole lot of things to do, so it's not complete. I'll finish the blog of the week by the end of the show, but a lot of what I will be talking sort of ad lib will be, in fact, some of the stuff that will appear on the blog of the week. Well, you know, I received a Facebook message, and you know who you are because I see that you're listening as well right now, that said, Egberto, there's this video that I'd like to put up on the Coffee Party page, and it was sort of a rant. It was a rant from our friend from Bernie 2016 TV, John Ellis. Well, I mean, look, first let me be frank. I am a Bernie. My heart is very warm towards Bernie Sanders because I think Bernie Sanders really promotes the policies. This is a personal opinion. This is not a Coffee Party opinion. This is a personal opinion. Promotes that which is the best policy going forward. That said, as a broadcaster, as a member of the Coffee Party, there's no endorsement or whatever on any particular party. So when I was presented with that thing, I had to look at it and ask one particular question. If you're posting it as yourself, fine. That's not a problem. But I also wanted to validate what John Ellis was actually saying in his video. So I wanted to speak to him personally, and I did, and also requested that he provided some of the information that he has, and he provided a plethora of information detailing what happened immediately after the debate. Folks, the number is 646-929-2495. If you want to speak, please remember to push 1 so that I can look at my panel here and know that you want to speak. But what I want to do beforehand, is I want to go ahead and play, if I can find it right now, and play the blog, rather the media piece that he did, because I think it is very, very important that folks not only listen to the passion with which, or the urgency that he spoke about, but also the reason that I gave the title that I gave to my piece. And 971, I'm coming to you in a minute, but please hold on. I really want to play this piece because I think America needs to hear his piece. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try to put the mic in the right way to do it because, like I said, I don't have all my setup the way I should right now. So forgive me for some of the mishaps that will be occurring in a few minutes. But here we go with what he had to say, and I'm going to play it right now.
John Ellis with Bernie 2016 TV, except this video is being pushed on my personal channel because, yes, once again, the Bernie 2016 TV channel has been shut down by a corporate media channel, CNN. And it's a very interesting story because it didn't happen like it usually happens. When we get shut down by a corporate media company, it's usually because we are broadcasting something right then at the moment live that they don't want us broadcasting. And that's usually when it happens. Interestingly enough, we carried the CNN publicly accessible feed of the debate, and CNN made it very clear that this was a publicly accessible version of the debate, and so we knew we were okay to carry it. And they let us carry it and rebroadcast it at the same time they were broadcasting it, like we've done with many other CNN feeds in the past. It was fantastic, and we thanked CNN and figured everything was okay. Until today. Until today, where I found out they shut down our channel again. And apparently it's because we kept the raw, unedited version of the debate. And CNN quickly went back to the editing room and chopped out all the pieces they didn't like so they could respin the story in favor of Hillary Rodham Clinton. CNN, we know that Time Warner is your backer, and we know that Time Warner is a big backer of Hillary. And you shut down our channel again because we reported the truth, and you couldn't do anything about it. This isn't about copyright. You said this broadcast was for the public, and now you're saying it's not. So I'm not really sure what your deal is other than just being unethical. You're not reporting the truth. You're not reporting the news. You're reporting what your owner wants you to report. Hey, Time Warner, you're not going to win. I'll create another channel. I'll move things off. We'll tell people to follow us where we go because we have a fan base that understands that we are reporting the truth, unlike what you guys do when you take a raw video and chop it up so that you can tell what you want to tell in the story. Well, we've got the full footage, and we will be talking about it tonight in a live broadcast, and we will be explaining the differences between what corporate media puts out and what the live event was, what you guys are saying online about the debate, and what the people are actually saying online about the debate, because you're definitely not listening to the people. And we need your help. I need help from the ACLU. I need help from lawyers, somebody. We don't have the power to battle what CNN has done. And we don't have the power to battle any of these guys. YouTube won't talk to us because we're not making them any money. And if I need to sell everything I own to get the right equipment, to buy my own satellite, I don't know what I need to do to move this off, but I will continue to broadcast the truth. I will continue to cover the truth. I will make sure that we have what the 99% want to watch, not your edited version. I will continue to do that. We at Bernie 2016 TV will continue to do that. You will not stop us. You will not stop us, CNN. So do your best. We need to come. We're going to come back at you. I need help. If anybody out there is a lawyer or a legal team or a nonprofit or knows anybody that can come to us and help us resolve these issues, help us figure out how to battle these guys, because it's unethical. You can't push out raw video and then chop it up and repost it and then take down everybody else's version of that. I'm sorry. That's just unethical. You're a news agency. Act like one. The gloves are off. I'm angry. The 99% are angry. Okay. Let me show you something. This is our views of that debate. We had 50,000 views that night, and we're up to 72,000 views of our version of the debate. You know why? Because it tells the truth. It's not an edited, spun version. And here is what CNN has done. They've shut that down. I want it to open back up. I'm going to figure out how to stream always from Bernie 2016 TV. We're going to figure out a place to move our channel so that instead of just having YouTube slap us down, lawyers have to send me letters. Send me all the letters you want, guys. Send me all the letters you want. Let's go at it. But we are going to report the truth. And the only reason I had to use your feed, CNN, is because you were the only ones allowed to broadcast something that should be available to the public anyway. This is about our country. This is about politics. This is an open discussion that everybody should have. You don't own the rights to that information. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The 99% own that information because it's about how we run our country and the people that we're trying to choose to do that. Right? You don't get to claim rights on that. And you don't get to cut up the truth so that you can spin your own version. We will fight you. And we will win. All right. That's the message. Right now, our channel's shut down. I need help. We can't broadcast anything on the Bernie 2016 TV channel. I'm going to create a new one, figure out a new platform to move everything to so we don't have to deal with this BS with YouTube and all the corporate media entities that don't want us telling the truth. Right? If you did your jobs, we wouldn't have to exist. But we need to exist so that we can tell the 99% what really happened, not your version of it. Help us. Please help us, everybody. Let's figure out a solution to this so that we can continue moving on. But getting our channel shut down once a month is just not going to fly, right? All right. This is on my personal channel, but I'm going to be putting it on the playlist on Bernie2016.tv.
I think you get the picture of what transpired there, and what I'm going to do now is open up the telephone lines. I see that we have a caller. Let's go to caller on area code 971. Come on in, area code 971. Who do I have the honor of speaking with?
Hey, Egberto, this is John Ellis from Bernie 2016 TV.
John Ellis, great. I'm very glad that you were able to call in, John. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for playing all of that. It's a rather long rant.
Well, really actually, it was a necessary rant, and I had to consider whether to keep letting it go or not, and I figured that I wanted folks to hear, first of all, the passion within the rant, because I think that is extremely important for several specific reasons. The title of the blog piece or the article that I'm writing about this particular issue is called America's Media Leaves One Shouting with No One Hearing. And the reason I named it that way is because right now the people that we have out there that are the ones putting the media out or putting the information out to people are not listening to all of those that are saying you simply are not doing it right. You're simply not telling the truth. Now, at Coffee Party USA, one of the groups that we're at, John, I'm going to bring you in right now. One of the things that we promote is something known as Be the Media. John Ellis, you are the media. I'm speaking about all the people that have a Facebook page, all the people with a YouTube channel, all the people with a Tumblr, all the people on these different platforms. You must be, not you are, but you must be the media, because what John Ellis did with that one rant and the corroborating information that came with that one rant was to provide effective, immediate evidence of what our corporate media does to actually change opinions, enforce opinions, and be the stooge of the plutocracy. And John Ellis says, welcome aboard, John. Talk to me.
Thanks, Alberto. Thank you so much. It's really nice to be with you. Yeah, we are the media. Absolutely. I wanted to say we are battling corporate establishment media. Bernie Sanders calls them the establishment media. And every one of us with a camera, with an account on social, that information, we are the new muckrakers, right? We are.
Hold one second, John. You have to.
Bernie.
John, we are not. We are all progressive folk. We all know a whole lot of stuff. Not everybody understand what a muckraker is. So let's kind of break this down for the average American citizen who's out there just behind a Facebook page to understand what a muckraker is.
Absolutely, a muckraker is a progressive. A muckraker is a truth teller. In the early 1900s. Teddy Roosevelt was faced with a similar situation. The only difference between what was happening then and now, besides the medium, is that Teddy was already in office. Bernie is not in office yet, but we are providing the same truth-telling. Back in the early 1900s, there was, before the labor laws, before all of the laws that really were designed to protect the American citizen, the middle class, the poor, corporations were running amok. They were. We had child labor. We had no laws to protect them. People were working 6- and 7-day work weeks. So all of the things that we take for granted today, those weren't in place in the early 1900s. And the government didn't know these things, didn't know how bad it was, because the newspapers were all being paid for and owned by the rich. It's a very similar situation to today. And Teddy Roosevelt was a writer. He was very interested in the truth, and he started meeting with independent news agencies, independent writers, independent publishers who were journalists. They were the muckrakers. They were telling Teddy the truth. They bypassed the corporate media. They created their own newspapers, and they started showing him the truth. He actually invited them to the White House at the time, and he started going to Congress saying, hey, guys, the reality we understand is not the reality of America, and we need to make some changes. And today, we are the new muckrakers. We are calling out our corporate establishment media for lying to us, for spinning the truth for their own gain, and saying that all politics, in particular, politics needs to be open to the public. I don't know why, in 1996, we sold our political system to corporations and let them broadcast these events as entertainment. And they hide behind the fact that they call themselves entertainment agencies when we ask them why they're not reporting the news. Well, you have an obligation under the FCC to report the news. You're not doing it anymore. We're the new muckrakers. We are calling out the corporate media because they are lying and they are in collusion with our government as part of those lies.
Excellent, John. Now what I want to do is I want to sort of go through a chronology with you, because what we want to do, first of all, this radio show is not only played live right now over the internet, but it's going to be archived, and we're going to be promoting this so that people can understand exactly what has occurred here. So what I'd like to do is get some sort of a chronology. So let's give an explanation, first of all, of and let me qualify something that is very important. We are truth tellers here, and at Coffee Party as well, we're truth tellers, but I must qualify to all listeners that we specifically do not endorse any candidate. We do not endorse Hillary Clinton. We do not endorse Bernie Sanders. We do not endorse anybody. This topic here is about fairness and truth in the news. In as much as my passions are personally with Bernie, the reality is we are here talking about what's necessary to get the truth out. So therefore, let's talk about the chronology as far as what happened in that from that perspective.
Absolutely. And I just want to add to your statement. I really appreciate you qualifying this conversation in that way. The volunteer group that is a non-entity called Bernie 2016 TV, that is the channel that was attacked. But this is an issue much bigger than our channel being attacked. And I don't want, we are not a part of the official campaign. We have nothing to do with the official campaign. We are just a group of volunteers. We are not their official channel by any means. And so I really want to protect them from any of this. This is really our issue, and it's a people's issue. It's bigger than any of the campaigns, honestly.
Understood.
So thank you for clarifying that. The chronology is this. We had our initial channel shut down by Viacom, and that was due to streaming one of their feeds, and they said they wanted to own the rights. And actually, Viacom repealed that. We were able to talk with them. But when an independent like us broadcasts somebody else's stream because we feel the public has a right to see it, and they clamp down on us, there are varying levels of attack.
I need to stop you right there. I need to stop you right there. When you said you broadcast their stream, were you broadcasting their stream live?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely.
Okay, continue.
So what we do and what a lot of other people do is carry the political stream from whatever news agency owns the rights to broadcast it on television. Right?
Got it.
Oftentimes, where we started as an agency was broadcasting, as a volunteer group, was broadcasting the Bernie Sanders events because nobody was carrying his events. And so we would carry the stream. Lots of other people would carry the stream, and we use a particular method called engagement broadcasting that really is about the discussion on YouTube, the discussion in the social layer, not so much about the production. The production is really there to enhance the discussion. And this method really makes our channel very popular. We have a higher comment count than I think most. Our broadcast of the CNN feed was 20,000 comments.
Yeah, I saw that. That was marvelous.
Yeah, and that's our goal, is to inform the electorate. So in the last several months, we've worked out relationships with most of the corporate media establishments. We carry their streams of Bernie. We try not to use the corporate feeds. We try to use a local news feed if we have to, and if we can, we try to use a smartphone or one of the 99% that's a reporter in the field. But we're trying to also provide something of quality, and if it's a smartphone with a bad connection, it's really not a good view of a Bernie Sanders event.
Right.
The debate is supposed to be open to the public, and what we do is do a pre-show and a post-show with all of our events that we carry for politics to inform the electorate. As I've said, we've been slapped down by Viacom. We worked out that issue with them, but it did shut our first channel down for 6 months. So we had to start a new channel. We had 8,000 subscribers on the first one. We built up the second one with the help of the 99. We had 14,000 subscribers on that one. CNN just slammed that one down for an hour's worth of their material packed between 4 hours of our material.
Right, I got it. So
The
in other words, they gave you a hard strike. They didn't give you just a strike, but a hard strike that caused that full 6 months wait period, if you will.
Exactly. They had varying options there, right? They could have just said, hey, this is our content, and we want to monetize it. They could have said, this is our content, and we're not going to let you play it. But instead, they showed a manual action. This was not even an Autobot. They reviewed all of the existing content of the full stream, which there are many other copies out there of the full feed of this debate, and they issued a manual full strike takedown against our channel alone.
I want to make folks understand how important what you just said was, because to some folks it's just okay, they saw their material out there and they shut it down. What's important here, folks, is that this material is a lot of other independent users, independent YouTubers have actually gotten copies of this material. Most of them are likely using the copies sanctioned by CNN because Bernie 2016 TV is actually not affiliated with Bernie Sanders, had decided to use raw footage that they didn't want to be out there. They not only attached under YouTube, you can say, let the person continue to use it, but the monetization will come to us, and they'll throw ads on your stream. You can't do anything about it if you want to use their material, and they'll profit from that. The point here, and this is a very important point, the point is this had nothing to do with profits or monies. They didn't care that Bernie Sanders 20 TV could have made them a ton of money because of the viewership that they had. What they cared about is that you, the American citizenry, don't get a chance to see raw footage of things the way they really were. Continue, please, John.
Well, I just want to clarify just a little bit more. There's actually scraped raw footage on YouTube channels being watched right now. It's raw, unedited. It just doesn't have the views. It doesn't have the exposure.
Exactly. Right. It's
So
because and I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's because they didn't care about the monies at all. They cared about the
Right.
actual reality getting out there, and that's the reason why you were struck and not just left to hang.
Yes, and I'll put in some other clarifiers there too, because we actually have had some people on Twitter and some other people ask us, "Hey, we can find a copy of this. What are you complaining about?" And it's like, well, that's the problem, is that other copies exist. Our channel was targeted. We don't know why our channel was targeted. I can come up with some other potential reasons, like we have a really solid pre and post show, and we discuss the issues on hand, and we don't spin the truth. During the actual debate, we run overlays of what's coming in from social media on Twitter. So There's a lot of commentary from the 99 being overlaid while the CNN broadcast is going on, and maybe they weren't happy about that. We'd like an answer from CNN. They won't talk to us, neither will YouTube. We don't make anybody any money because we don't take money. We're not monetized. And so they don't care.
Right.
You know?
Well, but again, they could. I mean, whether you are monetized or not, if you chose to use their content and they thought that it was a copyright issue and they wanted some sort of monetization, under YouTube's guidelines, they actually have the right to do that. And they did not choose to do that. They choose to pull you down. And there's something that is actually shutting down discourse, free discourse.
Yes. On a non-monetized channel run by a bunch of volunteers that are dedicated to informing the electorate, and they were providing their own commentary and having a discussion, 20,000 comments worth of discussion about that debate,
right?
Helping the electorate understand what's going on. But obviously, CNN wasn't happy with what was going on with what the people had to say, and so they wanted to make sure their version was the only one available online.
Excellent. Okay, continue, John.
Well, so I mean, at this point, what the most important thing is that we need everybody to make noise about this. I filed a complaint with the FCC. The slide deck that I shared with you, and most of that content is now available as links and text information in the description of the video that I put out. And there's a copy of that video on our new channel that we had to create thanks to CNN. And if people will just read through that content, it provides every single piece of evidence, every single word you would need to say to file a complaint with the FCC. And quite frankly, this is the only thing we can do, is hopefully, inundate them with thousands of complaints where they actually have to take action. But again, the FCC is owned by these corporations, is in collusion with these corporations, so I'm not sure really how much we can accomplish. Berto, this is where it comes down to a really difficult problem. Like, I've had lots of people say, reach out to this celebrity or that celebrity, or why don't you go talk to these people? Well, they all take paychecks from the media corporations.
Well,
we are battling.
Let me tell you what, the thing that I've been preaching, and then I'm going to bring some more callers in a second as well, John, but this is what I want to say, and that is one of the reasons you won't see me ever say things like, let's try to get this celebrity involved or get this other piece involved. Is the only thing that I've been pushing over all my networks is that we must have real net neutrality, so that we can decide what to do, because I am tired of saying we need to get some celebrity to come on board. We need to go ahead and beg some corporation to do X, Y, Z. No, we need to make sure that the masses do things. If the masses are able to do things, we don't have to worry about individualism or any of these issues. But John, stay with me. I'm keeping your mic hot if you need to jump in. I want to bring 210 in. This is John from San Antonio. John, come on in, my dear friend. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting conversation. I'm not, obviously, I'm a big Bernie Sanders supporter also. So, I mean, I understand, what the Mr. Ellis is talking about, but I also understand copyright law. And from somebody who, has been interested in the music industry and also the newspaper industry, I've seen these industries, cut to shreds. And so, you also have to consider, if you're, let's say, putting an arts program on television and, you have a copyright on that, do you think that anybody should just be able to break copyright and to air this on the air? And this is something that you paid a lot of
You're
money
correct.
into.
You're correct, John. Let me first qualify that. I think you're correct. And by the way, I write a lot. I have a couple of books out. I do a lot of stuff on my website, and to tell you the truth, a lot of my blogs are copied all over the place. I don't bother folks about copyright, but that was my choice. But if somebody wants to bother about copyright, that is okay. I think and John can corroborate this later on, one of the issues about it is when you have a difference in the way that these rules are implemented. I hadn't completely written the article yet, but one of the things that drew me to the article is that in 2007, CNN put out a letter stating that all these debates should be available to the public in sort of a public domain manner. Likewise, in our private public sort of being, if you will, something like a presidential debate, having it sanctioned solely by a private entity leaves quite a bit open for the control of this democracy by the corporatocracy. I mean, my contention is actually that debate should not even be something that is copyrightable or hold to the vestige of some individual private corporations, because this affects us all. And what happens when it's under the will of a corporation is they decide how this product, because that's what they turn a debate into, they determine how this product will be seen by the populace at large. That is not a democracy. That is a light form of fascism.
Wait a minute, Egberto.
Go ahead,
can
please.
I make my point here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because, I mean, to what degree are you going to take this to? I mean, basically, I mean, I'm not I mean, I never watch CNN. CNN is a joke, so I agree with Mr. Ellis to that degree. I mean, this is the first time I've watched CNN, and I can't even remember how long. Okay, and so, but I mean, they did provide, if you don't have cable, they did provide a live stream on the internet for free. But I mean, I guess you could say, well, I don't have an internet connection. Shouldn't all these debates be covered live on network television? I mean, you can say this is a public service, and I mean, you can make that point, and you can, that may be a valid point.
Okay, John wants, and I think that is the point. But go ahead and finish, and then John can answer.
Right. But I mean, that's not the reality of the situation. The reality, I mean, I guess you can say we should push for that to where every single debate should be on network television. I just think that, I mean, I know other people like, Sam Cedar, when he had his live stream on, they cut him off too, the first Republican debate, and it was on Fox, and so, I agree with the point. I agree with that citizen journalism is good, but it's just as good. The quality depends on the person who is actually giving it. And so, in other words, if it's not I mean, most people that are, quote unquote citizen journalists aren't trained in journalism, and they don't know the basics of journalism. Some of them are, and some of them are excellent. People on Daily Kos are excellent. I can go to others. I can name a bunch of other blogs that are excellent, and that's what I spend most of my time reading. But there is a degree, and I've talked about this many times to you, Alberto. Is your complaint just because everybody keeps talking about the truth, and I believe Bernie Sanders speaks the truth to a large degree, but at the same time, that's truth is something that there is a perception of. I mean, Sarah Palin has a different perception of the truth than you or I have.
Right, but John,
and so when she complains about, mainstream media, I hear what you're saying, and there is a lot of what you're saying that overlaps and is actually the same thing. There's different degrees to this. What Sarah Palin is saying is the lie that corporate media is actually aligned to the left. Okay? And so, that's obvious a lie for anybody who's actually studied, the number of Republicans that are on Sunday shows compared to Democrats.
Right.
Okay?
John, but
so,
I want to interrupt John for one reason, because I don't know that, I think we're talking past each other, and then I'm going to ask John to come in. My thing is not to take away someone's copyright. My thing is not to not realize that CNN invests a whole lot in preparing its picturesque screens and all this kind of stuff. My thing is that we are electing a president, and if we have a corporation that can actually manipulate the message that's coming out, then that is a problem. And what I think, John, and John can back me up or refute or otherwise, is that what occurred is the spin is the allowable spin of that entity who controlled the entire raw footage changed what the reality was of the debate. It made it more difficult for the reality to come out. So let me ask John Ellis to answer that, and then we can return to the discussion. Then I'm coming to 727, who's been waiting for a while. Go ahead, John Ellis.
Hey, I just wanted to, how you doing, John? Thank you, Alberto. I just want to clarify some things here. First of all, there are two issues about it. One, CNN violated FCC rules and regulations plainly and clearly, and we have all of that evidence documented. This is not about their copyright, because they also stated that this was a publicly free, accessible broadcast, and they made a very proud statement about that. Look at us. We're going to give this out to the public because we're so nice. They even said, you don't have to log in and pay for your CNN Go account. Everybody's going to get to see this. You can't find it now on CNN as one solid piece. It is not available anymore. In 1996, the corporate media organizations gained access to broadcast these things. Prior to that, they were broadcast publicly by public entities and available to the public through every medium. That changed when corporations took over and owned this. They do not have the right to own our political process, but they do. So I'm sorry, CNN is not going to claim any political right to this, any copyright to this. This is the public's domain, and what exactly are they claiming right to? Secondly, if it was just an issue of copyright, why haven't they shut down every copy of it on YouTube? Every copy of it that's out there that's infringing on their creative rights and the money that they spent to produce this entertainment.
Okay, John.
They have a trust. They have a trust with us, the people, and they've broken that trust. There's violation of FCC rules. It's not about copyright infringement at all.
Okay, John. You can answer from San Antonio.
Yeah, you're saying before '96, you're saying the corporations got together, but before '96, there were debates on, and they were on corporations. ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox.
They were available through other methods. They were available publicly. They were not owned.
How were they available to other methods? How?
They weren't.
How were they available? The internet was at its very beginning. How are they available?
We're not talking about the internet, sir. We're talking
You
about
said
radio.
in
We're talking about
1960. No, I'm
transcripts.
talking about a point
96.
that you,
Okay, I tell you what.
No,
Let me
what I'm
ask
saying
you.
is that there was a law that changed. Congress and these 6 media corporations got together and agreed that the 6 media corporations were going to now control and own the rights to the political broadcast, the debate. That's wrong.
who else would broadcast?
You should change that
Who
now.
else broadcast them before then?
PBS.
They could be
Who else
broadcast on
broadcast?
public PBS, public broadcast networks.
Yeah, but let me go ahead and
PBS
break.
had every debate.
Yes.
None of the networks had other debates.
I am not.
before then.
I can't qualify that because I don't know that. But let me bring another person
Well,
into the
yeah,
debate.
you know that's wrong. You know
It's not even the issue,
all
sir.
of those.
Not even the issue.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Not
Yeah,
even the
No,
issue.
I'm saying you're not being honest about this.
here's what I'm saying, though.
I mean, I'm a
Do your
Sanders
research.
supporters too. No, I know. I
put
mean,
all of this
I've
data.
watched.
I put all of this
I've
data.
watched
Okay, let me tell you.
debates and-
Can I interrupt as
No,
a moderator
there's-
here? As a moderator
You're
here,
wrong about
okay, as a
this.
moderator, let me just say this. Okay, that particular back and forth not going to solve anything, and we can all of us can actually find that out on our own what the actual reality is about how things were done in the past.
But I mean,
I
this
will
is a
admit I
simple
don't know
thing,
it.
Egberto.
I don't know it. I don't know the answer.
You can. Are you telling me before 1996, ABC, NBC, CBS never broadcast any debate?
No, that's not what
Sure,
we're
they're
saying.
not saying
That's not
that.
what we're saying. We're saying that we
That is
don't
not
know
what I
how
said
much
at all.
control. We don't know whether as far as the control of the content. In other words, these things were broadcast live. Now, with the situation that we have in today's world over the internet and storage and all these other type of things, it's a lot different that people can capture things and put them out there. In the olden days, somebody put it on a Betamax or a cassette, and it's a different world. But I mean, the question that I said that I simply don't know is if CBS had found out that somebody turned that debate into a 16mm film and was broadcasting it at churches all over, whether they would call that an infringement on copyright or not, or a public service. That is really the question. And my contention is, my belief, and I don't know this is a fact, but my belief is that if somebody took that and put it on a 16mm film and started showing it at churches all over throughout the country, I doubt that any of those corporations would have had the gall to come and say that is our public right. That is my doubt, but I don't know that for a fact. But let me bring 727 in. I'm not trying. The whole thing, John, is we don't need to be fighting about past and whatever. What we need to be concerned about is what really occurred here, which is it's really a travesty, and that's why I said, John from San Antonio, we're talking past each other because we're talking two different things. The thing that we're concerned about here is the reality that after the debate was completed, CNN created a new reality, and there's a slideshow that was made by John Ellis that shows that shows a curving of reality in a very nice way, and I'm going to try to write it up in the best way that I can as well, and that is what we have to get away from. But I need to get to 727, who's been on hold for a while. 727, who do I have the honor of speaking with?
Marianne in Tampa.
Hey, Marianne, how you doing?
Good, good. I'm so glad that you are carrying this and that you have John on today. And kudos to John and all of those amazing volunteers over at Bernie 2016 TV. You're really doing a great job. What's happening with what CNN is doing? I don't know. Are we going to continue to let the media poison the channels and of public discourse? Are we going to let them continue to fraudulently influence our democratic process? And that's what you guys are doing. You're aware of that's what's going on. As far as your plea for legal assistance, I don't know if it's possible if he would be interested, but I think of Mike Papantonio. I don't know if you guys might
I know
want
who
to
he
reach out
is.
to him,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling it's worth a try. But that's pretty much all I have to say.
Well, look, thank you, Marianne, but I appreciate your call. I think it's important that people's voices get heard. And, I honestly think we're all on the same wavelength. One of my biggest fears is as follows, right? Because a lot of times we sit back and I remember a lot of times people say, oh, they won't do that. Oh, they won't do that. Oh, they won't go that far. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, all these different things, right? And when, I went to a Netroots conference in Detroit. I go to them every year. and I don't remember the name of the particular activist, but she had this story and she had the room going. She said, you know, you put a frog in a pot of water and you put the water on the stove, and the temperature of that water goes up so gradually as it warms up to a boil that by the time the frog realizes he's in trouble, he's already boiled meat. Okay, and that is the sort of the spot that we're on. There are a lot of these little things that occur throughout our politics, and what is fearful to me, and John, I know that you feel this way, as both Johns feel this way again, is that, you know, the way these guys don't do anything in a knee-jerk reaction. It's all done sort of, and a lot of times they don't even have to say what they're doing. I don't think. Put it this way, there's something that was made evident in the slideshow that you brought, John Ellis, and that was how a narrative was developed before any scientific data was available, when the only data available was what we had online from several focus groups, what we had online from left-wing blogs, right-wing blogs, and center blogs. And it seemed like, and by the way, when I watched the debate, I didn't see a Hillary win. I didn't see a Bernie landslide. What I saw is two people who could, looking at the two of them, two people who could handle the topics very well, but that the person I believed, because they've been consistent in what they were saying, because I loved everything Hillary said. I'll be honest with you, what Hillary had to say was almost identical, with a few exceptions, than what Bernie had to say, but it was new. It was a complete turnaround, and I've written about Hillary and what she said about Hillary have statements in my blogs where she really hit the left for attacking banks. We can say bring all those things in, right? But the Hillary we saw on the stage was a Hillary I can vote for, was a Bernie I can vote for, was the other, I can't even remember the other candidates now, but I could vote for. But because we are all in this space knowledgeable, you know, we can understand this. Now, to the rest of the people outside, a lot of them just came out, oh, Bernie won. What was sad was, even as these things were coming in and these numbers were being played out, you didn't hear the media saying things like, well, you know, these people think that the person won, and I wonder what the scientific poll is going to say. In effect, what they did is they do what a lot of lawyers scare from that jurists do, and that is they poison the well. In other words, all the media had a blanket statement. Hillary did wonderful, Hillary won, and then they did a poll, right? And believe that any poll that's done after you have mass coverage of how great Hillary done, that it won't have some sort of a material effect on polls. I mean, it is a thing that is. There are some books on psychology that tells you exactly what occurred in this event, and I'm just saying there was no memo that had to go out for this to occur. There was no memo necessary, because when you are in the game, it is known how you should behave. So let me ask John Ellis to comment on that, and then I'll go back to John in San Antonio. Oh wait, yeah. Go ahead, John Ellis.
I'm sorry, to comment on which piece, Alberto, which part?
To comment on the part where I said these people actually know what to do. There's no, in other words, I don't think there was some memo that says, hey, this is the party line that we need to toe. I just think it is implied, and folks know how they need to behave in a corporate media environment.
Oh, I don't know, absolutely. Although I want to say one of the most common lines you see a lot in bloopers is, my producer put this in. My producer put this in. Right? You hear it from the talking heads on the station. So I think a lot of times I think it is totally implied. I think everybody knows what the message is from the top, and they toe that line. I really think they just do that. I don't think it's a. But on the other hand, aren't we seeing in the news right now that CBS is refusing to carry the coverage of this truth? One of their own reporters, a movie that's out. I mean, they'll do anything to protect the image, to protect what they want to portray. We know that Time Warner donated $500,000 to Hillary Clinton over the lifetime of their relationship together. So I think that alone establishes what needs to be said or done without any other words, right?
Right. Now, let me tell you, I am, in as much as I believe what you say, I'm never the conspiracy theorist. I kind of like the idea of seeing what occurs. You know what I mean? And I don't think it is at all difficult to see not only what has occurred but what has been occurring. But let me bring my friend from San Antonio, Jean.
Well, yeah, I mean, corporate media is a huge problem, but I mean, it's always been this way. I mean, if you look at, when. Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't change it. I'm saying do change it. I'm saying that, now that I'm aware of your site, I'm probably going to go there and check you out, and so, I mean, like I was saying before, all the, the blogs that I read, I mean, the internet basically has changed everything.
Right.
But, you still have corporate media out there, and, but it's also a matter of what they think that they can make money on. And you saw it, when all of a sudden Keith Olbermann was getting ratings, they realized they can make money from liberal programming, and they started doing it. Now, in the last few years, they feel like they're not able to make money. That's just what capitalism is about. And so, I mean, I'm not saying that, I mean, the idea is to make people more aware, and the Sanders campaign is doing that. I basically feel that, I'm not saying what you're saying is a total waste of time, but it's pretty close to a total waste of time. The people who are promoting Sanders should be talking about issues more, talking about what he needs to do strategically, what he needs to do to make it closer. I've talked about Egberto saying that he should not campaign in the South, because I don't think that he can win the South. I think it's a waste of time for him to do that. If you look at all the states that he's doing, I mean, maybe in a month or two he'll do better. But as it is now, the only state that he's within 20 points of Hillary is in Texas, out of all of the South. So he should concentrate on the West. He should concentrate on the Northeast. He should concentrate on the Midwest, and he's doing very well. He's only 2 points behind in Idaho. He's winning in Utah. I know those are small states, but that's what he should be doing. I don't think that this is something that is really a big deal. I mean, I just don't. The idea that
John
is all of a sudden going to make their streams to anybody. It's not realistic. Nobody does that in any field. Nobody does that.
John, I need to interject.
In the music industry, that's why it's dying. It's almost impossible for a musician to make a living anymore.
No.
Because all you have to do is.
Let me just say,
it's time to change. When the dinosaur industry can't compete with the internet, it's time to change. And that you said it very well, sir. You said that the internet has changed everything. Corporate media has no idea how to address it. They don't know how to interact with it. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to compete with it, and they can't. And so they get dirty with it. This is about freedom of speech. This is about freedom of access of information.
No, I want to correct.
To make all of their feedback.
I want to use my moderator whatever here, and it goes as follows. First of all, I understand both sides of the discussion. I disagree with my good friend in San Antonio about one particular issue. I do believe that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. In other words, what you're doing, John Ellis, with actually fighting for what has occurred with something that many of us believe should be in the public domain, I think it's important because for one specific reason, and that is, if there's no pushback on the mass media, on the traditional mainstream media, then they will continue to freely tailor the message however they want to. Yes, we can try to mitigate that, but if we are fighting against these behemoths, then we have an issue. So I do commend you for what you're doing, and like I said, like I told you, I'll do my part to try to get that message out. To I don't want to say to inflict distrust in the media, because I think that is already there for a reason. But to let folks know that, not necessarily what they see on this news it's the way it should be. I think that is extremely important, because if as John in San Antonio wants, because he believes in a Sanders, I tell you one thing: if he gets even more traction, what the plutocracy by definition must do to curtail him, this little squabble that we have here with one YouTube channel that has 80,000 views on this thing down, along with plain raw footage that is not very kind to the mass media, that would be peanuts compared to what's going to be done next. So I think the pressure has to be kept on by all costs. Now, what I need is some closing arguments. So, John from San Antonio, give me a quick 30 seconds, my dear brother.
Okay, well, I'm just focusing on, Bernie trying to win the election. I mean, that's what I think the most important thing is, actually focusing on the issues, focusing on, free education. We can afford that for college. We can afford United health care for all, just like all the states. I mean, all the
countries, industrialized countries,
industrial countries have. And so, we should be focusing on issues, and so that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping on Super Tuesday, he puts his energy in Massachusetts, he puts his energy in Colorado, even puts his energy in Texas, because he's only down by 12 in Texas. And so, I hope people go to him, and I will go to Mr. Ellis's channel, and I will check it out.
And be a part of it, John. John from San Antonio is a great ally to have, because let me tell you, John Ellis, he does his research and he knows what he's talking about. He's a frequent caller of our program, and I love John in San Antonio. We talk a lot. John Ellis, please give me a closer.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thanks for having me on. That was just great. All of a sudden, a great way to start my morning talking about this with some passion. And John from San Antonio, I agree with everything you just said. It's about Bernie Sanders winning, and that is still our primary goal, and I did not want this to detract from that. This is a separate thing. One of Bernie's issues, because I do agree with you that we should keep it on the issues, absolutely, and one of his primary issues is corruption. Corruption in the government and corruption within media. As a matter of fact, the grassroots team sent out an email yesterday that stated that. We know that the establishment media says one thing, but we know that you know the truth. So they're addressing it, and so it is an issue on Bernie's plate, and I think we need to focus on getting Bernie elected. We can't get him elected if the mass media that the majority of American voters look to for information is not telling the truth. So that needs to be addressed. It is one of his issues.
Thank you very much, John Ellis. And Marianne, give me a quick closer, please.
Yeah, with John Ellis, that's exactly what I believe you're doing. You're out there to get more people to see what Bernie is all about.
Well, folks, let me, before I close the show, qualify again that while this show was a Bernie-centric show, Politics Done Right supports no particular candidate, but it's an open forum for everyone to speak, and that is a must. That is a requirement. Thank you very much for having spent this almost 1 hour with me. I hope that our goal here is to earn the trust of all those who are listening, to earn the trust that folks will feel, folks will be empowered, that they are in fact able to be a part of this body politic, that they will actually go out there, that they will go out there and be a part of the politic, be a part of what change is all about. Because, we can talk about change and we can talk about all these good things that we want, but unless we get up and be a part of it, it cannot be done by John Ellis, it cannot be done by John of San Antonio, it cannot be done by Marianne, it cannot be done by Greg Rusak, it cannot be done by all these folks. It all has to be done by whom? By you. Again, this is Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies. Thank you very much for spending this time for me, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. You can personally reach me by sending an email to egberto@politicsdoneright.com. Remember, Egberto is spelled E-G-B-E-R-T-O. Change starts with you. 90.1 KPFT gives you information not tainted by corporate interest. Please visit kpft.org and contribute. Let's ensure continued access to real information and news remain available to all. Again, thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right.